Would you please pack your bag? Listen, as we flow with John Roeland, Pepper Mac, Cash you are, along with the man Turkey. Oh yes, we're sitting here reviewing, talking about our folks' folks, and we're nothing but evil. Only planning on jacking and killing the next man, but my clan's plan is to bubble and expand our pot, that pot, as well as our mind. I wish I had a dime sack every single time that someone over there might say something negative about marijuana and the people who smoke it. I've said it before, man, many times, that when we get high, we just spit dope rhymes and kick on back and relax and talk cool. We don't run out and start acting the fool, and the people that do don't gotta be under the influence. Ain't the leader turn about, man, it's just a person. We get it cooking, you can talk bad on me, and every other person smoke weed peacefully. Half the people you know probably smoke the dope, but since it's illegal, keep that on the down low. Because of you close-minded people, I gotta smoke a couple of weed because it's illegal. It's like pulling teeth to use it medically. It's been proven fact, but yeah, you fools can't see. Well, only time will tell if we don't fail. Yeah, I didn't even have to tell my tale.
What's up, all? Do you like the way the music sound? It's grooving, got you moving to the partner sound. And on this track, it's about to get down. So move around and look around and get familiar to sharing ground. I tell y'all this bad talk about partners and grow crops is really getting the mix. So I'll let loose reach out first off. To those doing time or just trying to fly. But all the partners I'll try to the day I die to set free. Speaking openly about the almighty ganja league. Secondly, those imperial type people got the shadows on rebellion type people who do you think you beat it. If it cuts you bleed, and if it ain't weed you need, then it's something else you need to succeed. Talking, smoking, scared, focus, cause they're too busy choking. No thought for focusing, just rolling, kicking, snoring. Life is boring.
When thinking about my partners and conversating amongst each other, breaking it down to one another, I discover the mind is intricate. I bet all they are scared, 110%. Been getting keeping big, but yet I keep on pushing to the top. My mind don't stop. Get what you want. My mind thought I'm focused. The only thing I noticed that hoping right there. There's magic hocus pocus. You're probably in awe. I saw the way you dropped your jaw. My game had no flaw, like $1 million cow. Fantastic analysis of the way my tongue flips and twists. What really helps with this is that potent doja mist. For all the people who don't know about that doja, I know somebody told you it's not all about that marijuana thing. We dig deep into our thoughts, know the consequences for getting copper with a silly thought. Living in a free society, or so it appears to be, but no one's fooling me. Another casualty, oh no, not me. Success, yes, that's the best. Progress, keep on pushing, don't let them negative people get you down, talking foolish. Whatever you believe, I can't conceive. Legendary, lyrical, logical, kind of speaking and thinking.
In the early days of the purple haze, smoking bomb would bring thoughts that amaze. They flew so fast through my mind insane. I never knew the potential inside my brain till I ripped the kind, sent it to my mind. People listen to me when I spoke and would find intelligence on my lips after fat rips, while they got obnoxious after alcoholic sips. The partners ain't thoughtless just because we just like to bring on that Bombay buzz. We ain't going around strapping or capping, just rapping. Sure, sometimes we get lazy and do a little napping, but when that happens, best believe when we awake, we stake our claim steady, hustling until the break of dawn. On and on, use the brain power to devour the ignorance of non-knowing users at a ratio of 420 an hour.
Liars ain't thoughtless, the lies ain't monotonous. The story got crossed, and them suckers took one hit and then lost. See, forgot one simple thought: everybody's equal, whether they comply or not. And propaganda is acceptable to those who believe not. Stop block is your train of thought. The dark side got you lost. Why do we stoners always blame the pot? If people gotta do whatever, man, it's got to stop. Get rid of that cop, picked up his slack, and don't be so quick to talk back. Let's learn from our elders and respect the day sack. Acknowledge is the present, and what matters is the present. Represent reality and keep strong families. You can't stop the rain, but at least soak it in. That's where it all begins. Different soul cycles going. Doing time in a state of mind. Ain't nothing kind of fine. Devils and angels around me all the time. Wish I could rewind and go back and do it again. Try to love with a bit less sin, stack a grip, live simple, lead by example, be more tactful, put in a bit more practice, y'all soon with ball, like me and my partners doing days and nights. When in the fall, we stand tall, packing big bowls, some small, working full time, overtime, all the time, maintain the state of mind.
Just because we divide us doesn't mean that we thoughtless. Don't want to be judged because of no one else, only want to be judged for what we do ourselves. Up in the studio all day and night, making these beats while we're hiding kites, hitting the ball, minding our own, singing our song, we will rock on.
Strategizing, realizing, compromising, so surprising. These stoners ain't bonus, people are finding. We're here to be reminding. There's so many worse things we could be doing in which our brain would be ruined. It's like the first, the alcohol industry gets plugged by the government, even though it's still a drug. While marijuana really wanna do her thing, since they say it's a drug, on the streets we slang, there we hang. gang, forming bonds and friendships, chopping it up like broccoli for some French dip, while others look down upon us and frown like we're evil just because the government says. I'd like to knock their heads back like a dispenser of Pez, but I ain't thoughtless and I won't get distressed. I'll keep a good head upon my shoulders. John Roeland and the partners roll over like boulders with intelligent lyrics, dialect that's delectable, making records and tapes that in the store are selectable. So intellectual, with plans of coming up so high that someday in airplanes we will fly in the sky, going around the earth, preaching partners theory, working for the world till we're weary. It makes me teary, but don't cry, just come along, hear our song, keep using your brain after hitting the bomb.
If I let you know everything I know, then you won't have no game to soak up later dough. Bro, contemplate the partners making the world a better place. Like history don't displace the fact and blur at. Everybody's in a hurry, they want the world right now quick. But what you got to understand, it takes time. Unity is one, divine intervention. Did somebody mention a dank smoking session? With my progression, the dank is feeling. My lungs are for a killing. I love it when I get the feeling, willing and dealing. We businessmen making a million. I hope you catch the vibe. The feeling, chilling and willing. Although the game, I'm letting it spew. Contemplating what we do, marijuana is the issue. It's the point of view, people looking at us through.
Just because we survive us doesn't mean that we thoughtless. Don't want to be judged because of no one else. Only want to be
That's
judged
what we do ourselves. Up in the studio all day and night,
making these beats
while we're hiding kites,
hitting the bone, mind our own, singing our songs we will rock on. Just because we the partners doesn't mean that we thoughtless. Don't want to be judged because of no one else. Only want to be judged for what we do ourselves. Up in the studio all day and night, making these beats while we're hiding kites, hitting the ball, minding our own, singing our song, we will rock on.
Yo, what's up to all my partners out there? This is the People of the NUS, episode 5, the Nous, or the New versus the News, and the Nose knows. That song you just heard right there was a project I worked on in my younger days. 1998, we put out that album, The Partners Productions, and at that time, it was all about the pot and us. The pot was illegal at that time, and we definitely thought it should not be. So that whole album is called 420. I have it posted on YouTube under John Roeland, where I have some of my other musical musings. Is that redundant? My musical musings. But yeah, the Partners Productions. It was a rap group. Me, my cousin, my boy Jay, and my boy Maddie. A couple of other of the partners sprinkled in on that album. And yeah, as I got older and, you know, still dabbled in music here and there, I got more into, you know, the spiritual search and the truth seeking and video content, and was basically reimagining the name Partners. And that's where I came up with the NUS. And the Partners, I turned it into the People of the Newly Unified Sphere, which over time evolved into the People of the Natural Universal Spirit. So we are the people of the NUS. What is this NUS? What is this newly unified sphere that we are all under, that runs through us, that seems to penetrate everything, that seems to run throughout, and yet it is the whole thing. It's the NUS. It's the natural universal spirit. It's that frequency that you can tap into and that you can use to, you know, really create what reality you want, to manifest what you want to see in the world. It's the realm of all things possible. So let's get into it real quick. The Nous, which I think I had heard of this before, but it was a person who had commented on one of my videos when I started using the NUS, and they said, "Do you mean the new?" And so I'm like, oh, what's that? And so, of course, I looked up the Nous, and the Nous is this philosophical concept that I'm going to share with you now. The Nous. In philosophy, the faculty of intellectual apprehension and of intuitive thought. Used in a narrower sense, it is distinguished from discursive thought and applies to the apprehension of eternal intelligible substances and first principles. It is sometimes identified with the highest or divine intellect. So, here's this concept that's been around forever, and I had kind of developed a similar concept in my own mind, and turns out it was already an idea. And is it a real thing? I guess that would be the next question. So let's look at this image again. Let's see here. We want to share. Let's see here. Let's see here. Can I share this image? Let's see here. There we go. All right. Are we sharing this? Let's share this. There we go. So this is one image of the concept of these different spheres that surround this earth that we live on. And in there's the other image I had of this has some interesting language, but there you see there is the moon sphere, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Martis, Iovis, which is Jupiter, and Saturn. And then above that, you have the Primu Mobile, the first movement, right? So here in this first movement, we have an inkling of the sphere, the new sphere, that is basically spirit. There's so many different names for it. The ether. I was thinking about that. Maybe that's why the ether and ether are similar to each other, because you can call it so many different names. You can either call it the Nous, you can call it the NUS, you can call it the realm of all things possible. You can call it the universal mind. You could call it God, right? It's the thing that animates all of us and that allows us as sentient beings who have the ability to raise our spiritual body up to these higher levels, and that we can tap into the Akashic records, another name for it. And we can pull from it, and we can manifest from this realm of all things possible. This is the true power that we have as humans. Excuse me. Which tends to get overlooked when we are down here in this material realm. And we forget that there's multiple levels of reality. And we are in perhaps the lowest level, seemingly the physical level, at least that we operate in. And we tend to live in a world now that's very mechanistic and wants to focus on just how this physical realm works and doesn't want people to get into the higher spiritual planes. We know that, as the Hermetic principle says, the universe is mental. So we need to be operating in the mental and spiritual planes in order to achieve whatever it is we're trying to achieve here on this earth. Now, the interesting thing about this Nous, is it is an impersonal energy. It's an impersonal force that allows you to create whatever it is you want to create. So we can create heaven on earth. We could create hell on earth. And how is it that we find ourselves in a place which seems to be at times like hell on earth? I would say that part of the reason is because we don't have a connection to these higher realms, and we don't pay attention to these higher spiritual planes. So I'm going to share from Wikipedia the Nous. Nous, from Greek, is a concept from classical philosophy, sometimes equated to intellect or intelligence, for the faculty of the human mind necessary for understanding what is true or real. Alternative English terms used in philosophy include understanding and mind, or sometimes thought or reason, in the sense of that which reasons, not the activity of reasoning. It is also often described as something equivalent to perception, except that it works within the mind, the mind's eye, the pineal gland. It has been suggested that the basic meaning is something like awareness. In colloquial British English, nous also denotes good sense, which is close to one everyday meaning it had in ancient Greece. The nous performed a role comparable to the modern concept of intuition. Now, intuition, we tend to kind of shit on sometimes, again, in this rational, material realm that we live in. Everything has to be proven. Everything has to be seen. People are less and less willing to use their intuition and to draw a conclusion about what is going on. But yet, to operate in those spiritual and mental realms, you have to realize that these are unseen. These are occulted. And so it would never be able to be proven in the way that people tend to want to have shown to them in this realm, this material realm that we're in. In Aristotle's philosophy, which was influential on later conceptions of the category, nous was carefully distinguished from sense perception, imagination, and reason, although these terms are closely interrelated. The term was apparently already singled out by earlier philosophers such as Parmenides, whose works are largely lost. In post-Aristotelian discussions, the exact boundaries between perception, understanding of perception, and reasoning have sometimes diverged from Aristotelian definitions. In the Aristotelian scheme, nous is the basic understanding or awareness that allows human beings to think rationally. For Aristotle, this was distinct from the processing of sensory perception, including the use of imagination and memory, which other animals can do. For him, then, discussion of nous is connected to discussion of how the human mind sets definitions in a consistent and communicable way, and whether people must be born with some innate potential to understand the same universal categories in the same logical ways. Derived from this, it was also sometimes argued in classical and medieval philosophy that the individual nous must require help of a spiritual and divine type. By this type of account, it also came to be argued that the human understanding nous somehow stems from this cosmic nous, which is, however, not just a recipient of order, but a creator of it. Some explanations were influential in the development of medieval accounts of God, the immortality of the soul, and even the motions of the stars. In Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, amongst both eclectic philosophers and authors representing all the major faiths of their times. Just a little background there on the nous from Wikipedia. So let's look at what what science says about the different levels of the atmosphere. Well, first let's look at the noosphere. The noosphere is a philosophical concept developed and popularized by the biogeochemist Vladimir Vernadsky and philosopher and Jesuit priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. Vernadsky defined the noosphere as the new state of the biosphere and described it as the planetary sphere of reason. The noosphere represents the highest stage of biospheric development, that of humankind's rational activities. The word is derived from the Greek "new" and "sphere" in lexical analogy, to atmosphere and biosphere. The concept cannot be accredited to a single author. The founding authors, Vernadsky and Desjardins, developed two related but starkly different concepts, the former grounded in the geological sciences and the latter in theology. Both conceptions of the noosphere share the common thesis that together human reason and scientific thought have created and will continue to create the next evolutionary geological layer. Interesting. This geological layer is part of the evolutionary chain. Second-generation authors, predominantly of Russian origin, have further developed the Vernadskian concept, creating the related concepts Nousenosis and Nousenology. Interesting. So these guys, I guess, are saying that this sphere is created by us, by humans, through our process of evolving and raising consciousness, that we are somehow creating this outer layer. Now, I'm going to share again what science says about the different levels of the atmosphere. Why is this not? Oh, there it is. Oh, where is it? Okay. Pretty bad image there. I'm not sharing it the right way. But anyway, the layers of the atmosphere, they have the Earth, and then they have the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spheres, as opposed to the ancient version that I shared earlier, which had approximately 7 or 8 spheres. I have a feeling that modern science would leave out the idea of the noosphere. And again, these guys who created the idea of the noosphere are, again, kind of looking at it backwards. They're looking at us as creating this sphere instead of looking at it as this is the beginning of creation, is this noosphere, this primu mobile, this original motion or first motion. Ultimately, what we're looking at is this ultimate spirit. I call it the NUS, the natural universal spirit. Again, you could call it the ether, that kind of starts moving and starts putting everything into motion. And as you go further and further down from this sphere, things become more and more condensed until you get to the sphere that we are on now, which is the material plane. Sphere, plane, they go hand in hand. I'm assuming on each sphere there is a plane of existence. And in those planes of existence that we originated from, we were less physical beings. We were more spiritual. So it's hard to imagine those realms from where we are. Obviously, we are limited to our 5 senses, which again, the idea of the new goes beyond that. It goes into your intuition. And again, from my understanding, you have to raise your consciousness now from where we are. So we are in the natural, we are in the nature part of the NUS, and we have to raise ourselves up through the universe to the boundaries of the universe. And what runs through it all is the spirit, which originates from this outer sphere. Now, I'm definitely using my intuition on this presentation and this live stream logos, this live stream of consciousness. But from everything that I've studied, I'm putting it into my own words, but it definitely makes sense. Again, take the concept of the Akashic records, where everything that has happened is recorded in sort of this spiritual library, and you can go there and tap into it. I think it's the same thing. I think that's also the same level of reality, existence, spirit, that you can tap into and manifest. So now the new versus the news. Isn't it interesting that the news, which is current information, right? The news is this other signal that has been created by man. And the news is meant to give you information about the reality of the world. In 1846, the Associated Press was created, where a bunch of news houses got together and tried to formalize a way of putting out information. And just a short 4 years after that, Reuters was created to do the same thing. I find it interesting that the way that reality is sort of sold to us or given to us is in duality. It's almost like they are wanting to they always give us two options, Pepsi and Coke, right? Disney and Looney Tunes, right? Like there's always like two competing, Microsoft and Mac, right? Or Apple. There's always two competing choices of any new technology or any type of idea. And I think there's something to that they are playing into the reality, the duality of reality, the reality of the duality that we filter the world through. And by always having two options, Republican, Democrat, it keeps you trapped in that duality and makes it harder to rise above the duality. So they give us the news. Another interesting thing about the news is if you look at north, east, south, west, which is most likely the direction that the new travels in, by flipping up the W and the S, right? They kind of throw us off. Instead of going in the motion of north, east, south, west, they have us going north, east, west, south, right? So to me, implying that they're kind of scrambling the true motion of reality, the true flow of the way, the true flow of the NUS, by giving us the news and keeping our mind bombarded with information that in most cases keeps us only concerned with what's happening in the material world, and at this point has been completely inverted and corrupted and turned into just theater for us to be distracted by, so that we don't tap into our true nature, our true spirituality, our true the true reality of the different realms that we operate in: the mental, the spiritual, and the physical. The news is that signal in the movie They Live, the signal that has to get knocked out because it has everybody in a trance. It has everybody focused on the wrong thing. It has everybody hypnotized. So don't think it's it's an accident that they called it the news, the new versus the news. Now, did they sit around thinking of that and create, come up with that? Or is that just a synchronicity that we observe? Now, how do you tap into the new? Well, a big part of it is meditation, and a big part of meditation is breathing. And an important aspect of breathing is inhaling through your nose. We call this thing the spirit, right? And the spirit actually translates to the breath, right? So it's literally telling you in the language that the spirit is breathing in, you're breathing in the spirit when you breathe. And yet most of people in the world barely think about breathing. Obviously, breathing is something that happens involuntarily, but we don't breathe correctly. We're given cigarettes to breathe on, to breathe in, as a way that's to supposedly relax us. But the true problem is that we aren't taking in the spirit as we should be, being aware that that spirit that you're breathing in is God, is the highest frequency, and that by using your intuition and also using your imagination when you're meditating, you can purposefully know or imagine that that thing you're breathing in is healing, life-giving energy, that if you can align with that frequency and stay in alignment with it, then you can get control over reality. You know, I come from Natural Freedom League. This is being posted to Natural Freedom League. At some point, I realized that freedom, true freedom, does not exist in this material realm. Freedom means, if you look up the definition of freedom, it means the lack of all hindrances. Well, that's not what we experience. We experience nothing but physical hindrances throughout our lives. We can't fly. We can't leave our bodies except spiritually. So what I realized is that freedom is a spiritual concept. You know, you can be locked up and still be free. You can be locked up physically and still be free spiritually. And I think that that's something that we need to really grasp and understand. So the new versus the news, and the nose knows, because by breathing in through your nose, by breathing in the spirit, you begin to know this reality of the different planes that we exist on. And you are able to understand the duality. You're able to resolve the paradoxes and step out of the dual nature of reality and see everything as one, and realize that we are creating this reality, and the universe will allow us to create hell on earth if we all choose to do so. So, you know, these are concepts that, you know, again, I'm kind of live stream of consciousness this, but, and I'm also putting it in my own words, you know, borrowing from others. But I have really come to know this as true. And that, again, like I talked about last week, if I focus on healing, I focus on raising my mood, you really do have control over it mentally and spiritually. You really can shift the energy from a negative energy to a positive energy. You can work with this force, this way, this natural universal spirit, and you can manifest whatever you want on this realm. Another thought I had about this is that these ideas, if they were taught to children, specifically, I want to say around like middle school age, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think that their minds are so powerful that they could manifest something greater in this world, you know. But we destroy young children at an early age in a variety of ways, and we definitely don't focus on true spiritual practice. I don't hate on religion, but, you know, most religions are based around a story, and they're not actually teaching you any practical skills as to how to achieve spiritual enlightenment. That's why I tend to the Eastern philosophies, because in Buddhism, it's actually giving you practical ways of developing your spirituality. And when we do this, we allow individuals to seek that understanding on their own. We don't tell them this is the way to do it, this is the answer. Let them become mindful of their own minds. Let them become aware of their own thoughts and, filter through that themselves. The more you practice this, the better you get at it. And of course, if you use this power to just, to harm people, or to step on people, then in most cases, the universe is going to give that back to you. But if we have faith in ourselves, if we have faith in humanity and allow them to all seek this force on their own and seek this understanding on their own, I have faith that we can manifest a better world. We can't fix it from this level. We can't fix it from the realm of effects. We have to step into the mental, spiritual realms in order to manifest the physical reality we want to see. So that's pretty much all I really wanted to ramble on about today. As you can see, I shaved my beard. It might look a little funny to you guys. I know my son thinks I look funny when I shave. But here I am. It's going to grow back in a few days. In the comments, Big G, what's up, Big G? Big G says, he kind of had some typos, but he says, you shoop. And he's right, I do shoop. But he says he's live right now. He played an old interview with you the other day at Pimp Unslaved. Yes, I'm well aware of Pimp Unslaved. I've actually come up to his panel a few times. It's funny, I must be very forgettable, because the first time I went on there, he didn't even remember that I had interviewed him. And then I saw when he did the interview or he played the old interview of us the other day, he was totally going at Will Keller, my partner in Natural Freedom League. And Will, has made a pretty good name for himself in the natural law community, the One Great Work Network, promoting the idea of natural law and encouraging people to understand it and put it out. But yeah, it's kind of funny that on that whole, the whole diatribe that Paul went on, he didn't even mention me. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's because I'm very middle way, or again, maybe I'm just not very memorable, right? And that's okay with me, because I'm not doing it for that at this point. This live stream that I do is definitely just to express my own ideas, which have changed quite a bit from the Mark Passio version of natural law. It's for me, I'm constantly saying I was wrong and constantly open to learning more, and ultimately I am an eternal optimist in the sense that I don't know, man. I don't like to focus on the conspiracy as much anymore, and I've gone deep down the conspiracy. I pretty much believe in every conspiracy on some level. I mean, I go further than a lot of these people are willing to, Agent Bill Hicks, I mean, if you don't realize that guy is either Bill Hicks playing a role, or they want you to think that, which why would they want you to think that? If you don't think that, either Paul McCartney was replaced or they wanted you to think that. And those are just, entertainment level. I mean, Alex Jones goes a little deeper than the entertainment level, because, he really became the face of the conspiracy and the truth movements. But yeah, I mean, on a level, I have appreciated Paul's work, and I think he's on a good mission. But I think over time, I just, I got a little bit, I don't know, I get a little bit fatigued by we're on our way to slavery and genocide. I don't think it has to be that way. And everyone needs to take the action that they think is appropriate. And, my calling is to definitely be more middle way about it, more action through inaction, which doesn't mean inaction. It just, it's a bit more, I guess I'm a bit more accepting of how things are. Kind of real understanding that they have to be that way. And that's how we learn. And again, if we decide to destroy ourselves, if that's even possible, or destroy whatever civilization we've created, well, then that's what is meant to be. And I say, bring it on. I'm going to continue to promote raising consciousness and teaching about spirituality and trying to get those ideas into the minds of whoever watches me on here, and also into the minds of the youth. And I think that there's practical ways to do that. So, about 40 minutes in, the only thing I wanted to say is if you folks have made it this long, subscribe to the NUS on YouTube. I'm also on TikTok a little bit. I don't really, I post stuff on there here and there, but the NUS is us on TikTok. But definitely trying to build up this YouTube page. But again, I'm appreciative of the fact that I have the Natural Freedom League audience that I can still post to. And like I said earlier, my partner, Will Keller, we still use the Natural Freedom League platform to promote our ideas, even if they are different. I think that's a good thing. And also on Tuesday nights, I have a new project with Benjamin Balderson and Alan Marcus at alanmarcus.com. And that is called Deliberating Dog-Faced Dudes. You can find us on YouTube right now at Deliberating Dog-Faced Dudes. A little bit more specific issues and debating differences and discussing solutions and really trying to get your idea across. And, again, being along the lines of Taoism and middle way, I don't really have the desire to force my ideas on anybody, and I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think that that there are practical things we can do to promote the ideas that I'm talking about, which again would be, excuse me, encouraging meditation amongst children. Teaching them how to control their minds, teaching them how to calm down and focus and be quiet and tap into those higher realms. And I do think if I had to pick one philosophy, it would be Taoism and Buddhism, because Buddhism is practical techniques for understanding what Taoism is saying, understanding the way, the flow of life, the spirit that runs through everything, and that we are connected to as humans. So I am going to wrap this up. I appreciate y'all who have watched, and I'll be doing this every Saturday, about an hour or less, probably less. Just little tidbits of thoughts and ideas that I'm always working through in my own mind. And again, catch me Tuesdays on Deliberating Dog-Faced Dudes at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Been having a lot of fun with that project. So I'm going to take you out with another one of my songs. This one is called Messiah Inside You. And you guys have a great day.
The world is corrupt, like from the DPG, from the LBC. Everyone that's in double OPs on each other's brothers, sisters, mothers. We all better be hesitant. They even jack the president. Everyone's envy is filled with greed and hate. If we be that way, we can see our fate. There's no need to debate. The world is in a bad state because we relate to the hate on the nightly news plate. Murder, mayhem, is there a chance to delay them? When I wake in the AM, I cannot wait to slay them. The negative energy, I'm looking for synergy. Look through history, it's fiery and blistery, stuck in the muck. People try their luck to buck the system that sucks, sucking up to big buck. Ku Klux Klan, slavery, bigotry, bravery, wars, rape, and relentless competitive bravery. It's all about love, that's what shines up above. Back in the past, MLK had a dream and felt the gun blasting fast. Years and years ago, spoke a man named Jesus who had a glow, and they let him know the institution rules on the earthly plane. But they were surely fooled, cause earth gave birth to us, but love gave birth to earth. Get up and shove the love. Jesus, he's us, we must see. Bust ashes to dust, dust to us. The beast that feeds us, destructive feeds us, leaves us crushed. We must come up. Jesus, he's us, we must see. Bust ashes to dust, dust to us. The beast that feeds us, destructive feeds us, leaves us crushed. We must come up. There's a Messiah inside your eyes. Save yourself. You're a savior. Behavior is your wealth. It's your holes, your roles, your goals, your souls. Golden rule karma. You don't need a pharmacy. G, you're like G.O.D. when you wanna be. Fill your holes and be all you're gonna be. You're gonna see. Had to shove, cause Trap Called Quest said, push it along. The song is life in life. You must long to be strong. Survival of the fittest. Living like animals. Look back at ourselves. We were cannibals. What's the deal? Are we still? Are we ignorant? We can't reveal the nature that is real, even more than evil. What's legal? What's law? Two realities at war. Right and wrong, short or long. Is the answer's gone? Did they leave in the body of Christ? Listen, I ain't dissing. I was raised Christian, but I'm not with the missions. Use my vision, think with precision while drowning in the institution. Where's the solution? Where's true power? I found it in the shower. My power is my aura is my soul. Get your souls off the flow, get your mind aware of your power. Word beware, you can do what Jesus did. He said it himself, never said don't quote me boy. He wanted to be felt. He shines through history as a martyr and a mystery. But don't praise someone else more than your own self. You are the universe, part of a whole, part body, part soul, both with the same goal, the same hole needing to be filled. Fill yourself with love and people, let's rebuild. If harm you let, then harm you get. It's our karma set of harm you get. If harm you let, then harm you get. It's our karma set of harm you get. If harm you let, then harm you get. It's our karma set of harm you get. If harm you let, then harm you get. It's our karma set of harm you get. There's a Messiah inside your eyes. Save yourself. You're a savior. Behavior is your wealth. It's your holes, your roles, your goals, your souls. Golden rule karma. You don't need a pharmacy. G, you're like G.O.D. when you wanna be. Fill your holes and be all you're gonna be. You're gonna see unconditional love. Tupac said, ringing through my head. That's how Dr. King lived. Realizing we are being for whatever reason. Fighting for freedom. How should we be proceeding? Fighting fire with fire or douse it with water? Look to his daughter and need it. Look no farther. Why bother with hate, greed, and earthly pleasures when the goal of your soul is to go forever? Building up his own loving energy. He let it be. In this plane of negativity, he made plenty enemies. Let him see how we could be truly free, equally sharing, daring to be staring at the next man, caring, but the next man couldn't understand, and blam, there went our Messiah, another savior expired. So now what do we try, huh? Fight fire with fire? That's for you to decide, brah. But before I rise up, remember that rider, Tupac, the West Sider, who fought fire with fire and met the same fate that we will all face. Our exit from this earth. What should we do with this existence first? I say be your own Messiah, because who am I to tell you how to live? But the next level higher, we'll all get there either through this life or the next. We are all Messiahs who be heard and learned in text. Jesus, he's us, we must see. Bust ashes to dust, dust to us. The beast that feeds us, destructive feeds us, leaves us crushed. We must come up. Jesus, he's us, we must see. But ashes to dust, dust to us. The beast that feeds us, destructive feasts us, leaves us crushed. We must come up. There's a Messiah inside your eyes. Save yourself, you're a savior. Behavior is your wealth. It's your hoes, your woes, your lows, your souls. Golden rule karma, you don't need a pharmacy. G, you're like G.O.D. when you wanna be. Fill your hoes and be all you're gonna be, you're gonna see. I see your glance on the phone. You know you're gonna see. Don't you know gonna see? That's what you're gonna see.